Yo, Edo here, high elo assassin coach and Qiyana main. Today we'll be taking a look at every single Qiyana build that I personally run. Remember guys, there are multiple different options of first items with Qiyana. Some people like to go Humos, some people like to go Hubris, some people like to go Profane. There are many different builds, okay? But this is my specific build that I recommend to my coaching clients and that I run myself, okay? So note, yes, there might be other builds out in the wild, but this is what I personally enjoy, and I will also give you the explanation of why I enjoy it. If you want personalized coaching for free, check the first link in the description. And now let's jump into the items. First of all, guys, a lot of people ask me, how do you get an item preset? Because that's what I have on Qiyana, right? When I get into the game, I have all those items listed up. So pretty quickly, you go into items after clicking on collection, and then you simply click on create an empty set. And then you can just click on it. This is how it looks. And then you can on the side just drag and drop items and give them a name and stuff like that. So this is how you genuinely do it, and this is how I do it on every single account that I play on. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the items here. So first of all, guys, we have the boots and the starting items. This Dorn's Blade and this Dorn's Shield is only used if I play Conqueror. I play Conqueror really rarely, at max in two cases. Either they have Vex or Victor. In that case, I run Dorn's Shield and Conqueror. Into Victor and into Vex, I run Dorn's Blade and Conqueror. Conqueror is only used with these two starting items. And then I have Longsword for my own Electrocute playstyle, which I play in like 99% of the games. If you run Electrocute and Longsword, I really like to go for Health Potion and not for refill. The only time where I go for refill is when they have a Talia or a Vega or a lane that's extremely easy to play. The reason why you do that is because potions give you more health. Look at that, restores 120 health of your HP, and this only restores 100 health, right? So this gives you 20 more HP and you have one more potion early game, which equals like 160 HP overall that you have more simply by getting 3 potions instead of refill, which is insane. For trading, that's really big. Like that is a big difference in trades and how many trades you can take. Next up, guys, let's talk about the builds here. So first of all, I want to start with like the items that I go for in specific cases. So you want to go for anti-shield, which is Hubris into Serpents, into Grudge, into Edge of Night, into Spear of Shojin, if they have a lot of shields. Like when I say a lot, I mean a lot. You don't do this randomly. You only do this if they have like, I don't know, Karma and Ivern. Maybe they have a Lulu and they have an Ivern. Maybe they have Diana jungle, they have a Yasuo top, they have a Yawn mid, they have Barrier ADC bot lane, right? So they have a lot of shields. In that case, I would always go for Serpent's Fang because the value is way too big. Apart from that, I don't really go for this specific build. This is only into anti-shield champions. Then I have the anti-tank build in here. The next video, guys, stay tuned for that, will be the anti-tank build that I went into a very specific comp. So this build is amazing if they have 4 tanks or more than that. Don't build this randomly, okay? But if they have that specific condition, this is an amazing build. I'll explain why. Hubris has a lot of ability haste. Eclipse has a lot of ability haste. Black Cleaver as well, and Spear of Shojin as well. And you get 1100 HP with these 3 items here. Why is that important? If you play into a lot of tanks, you can delay the fight for an insane amount if you have enough HP and ability haste. Those 2 stats are really important. With the Hubris, you have enough AD stacking with the stacks, so you have enough damage in the build already, and then you can just play this into the tanky opponents that they have. And this is also enough to one-shot the enemy ADC if you are like at least a little bit ahead or you are relatively even, right? Then we have one build that I rushed when I was at my peak 560 LP Masters. I went for Humos, Ghostblade, I went for Hubris, and then for Cyrilda's Grudge, Edge of Night, and Spear of Shojin. So this build is really good if you are looking to roam a lot. And you only do this in handshaking lanes. You can theoretically rush Humos every single game, but then your build changes a bit. As I mentioned, this is not what I do, but I wanted to present you this build as an option. If they have a lot of shields, you would go for Humos into Serpent's Fang, so the build would look a bit different, into then Grudge, and you don't have Hubris with that build, which is a bit annoying, and I love to have Hubris, and that's also why I'm not running this build specifically, because in my opinion, guys, Hubris is the best first item. I want to talk about that for a moment, why I think that is. So Hubris gives you 60 AD, 18 lethality, and 10 ability haste and costs 3k gold. Now Now, Profane gives you 60 AD, 18 Lethality, and 10 Ability Haste, exact same stats, but it costs 200 gold more. So right off buying the item, this is already like super gold efficient. Plus, you can stack the AD, which is insane. Even if you only get 1 kill, it's already 17 AD that you get additionally. Just let that sink in. That's actually quite a lot. And with Qiyana, specifically in lower elos or up until like high masters, I would say, you can get so many kills through roams. It's not even funny. Therefore, guys, those are the builds that I'm running. I'm not really running this at the moment. The only thing that I go for is I go for the anti-tank build, I go for the anti-shield build. And if they don't have tanks and they don't have shield, that's when the normal build comes into play. That's amazing. I didn't say Profane is a bad item. I just said that Hubris is better as a first item in my opinion because you can stack it quick. So after Hubris, I love to go Profane into Serpents. Into Cyrilda's Grudge, into Edge of Night, and then Spear of Shojin, right? We'll talk about Spear of Shojin in a moment, why it's so good. I think everything else is pretty straightforward. AD stacking, just a lot of damage. Like, no matter which item you compare to Profane, it's always most damage. There's no other lethality item that gives you more damage, stat-wise, than Profane Hydra. So that's why I go for it. Then you have Cyrilda's Grudge. This is straightforward, right? If they don't have tanks or anything, you can actually rush Edge of Night. So you would go Hubris, Profane, then Edge of Night, and then Cyrilda's. And for the 6th item, guys, as you can see, I always have Spear of Shojin in here. You might find that a bit suspicious and ask yourself, why is he doing that? The answer is quite simple, honestly. It's because, let me summarize this. 450 HP is a lot, by the way. It makes you really tanky, especially if you consider that you already have Edge of Night. You get 3% more damage per stack on your abilities, right? So your ability and passive damage. By 3%. By the way, Qiyana's passive damage is quite important here as well, like you just deal additional damage with your auto attacks, so this also applies. It can stack 4 times, so you can get 12% more damage by simply buying this item and stacking it, which is really great. This is amazing as a stat. You have 45 AD, which is not that bad, honestly. Considering the other stats that are in the item, this is amazing. And the biggest factor why you get this is the 25 ability haste, guys. This is insane. You can get so much ability haste, especially with the anti-tank build. If you simply go for this, you can honestly perma-grass. You can literally perma-stealth if you have these items and you have lucidity boots. It's absolutely insane. The only times where I wouldn't go for Spear of Shojin, and here we come to the 6th item options, is if they have a lot of magic damage, then you go for more of Memories. I mean 3 or more AP champs. Otherwise, I would still go for Shojin. If they have insane amounts of AD damage, like if they are full AD, then you go Death Dance, or if they have a lot of burst as well. And if they have like executional damage that simply one-shots you, for example, they have a Malzahar late game, and you can't avoid getting killed, maybe, that's where I would go GA. Or maybe they have a Mordekaiser or something that can just ult you, right? I really don't like going for QSS because that just forces you to buy an item that you're not going to finish, right? And then we have Axiom Arc. So when would I go for Axiom Arc? Well, pretty simple. Whenever you don't need Shojin, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this. It's like the last resort. So when does this happen? They are super squishy, that's number one, right? They don't have any threat onto you if it's like a low threat comp that you can just play around. And you are already quite far ahead. If those 3 factors happen, well, in that case, you can go for Axiom Arc and then just complete your build. In that case, the build would just look different. You would just have Axiom Arc in here instead of Shojin. That's it for the items, guys. There's really not much more to it. If you want a video on runes as well, I'm more than happy to help you out with that, so type that into the comments. As mentioned, if you want personalized coaching for free, check the first link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.